Just tell me! Both of you!
You will go one-on-one with The Undertaker!
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to not really another episode of Hit the Books. This is our first ever sort of like official paper reviews, where we review...
reviews?
Yes, that is a pun you made in another one, which we did for Survivor Series, I believe.
You know what? It sounds like me.
It sounds like a pun Mikey would make. Paper reviews, where we review pay-per-views. It explains itself in the title.
Yeah, basically. It's a very self-explaining pun.
Of course. Of course. As always, I am Ray Knightsey, and with me today is Mikey Manfredi. Mikey, since this is not the regular episode of Hit the Books, you don't get a nickname.
That's fair.
I can only save that many nicknames for the actual show. I can't be dueling out even more nicknames.
Yeah, that's fair. You gotta save them for the main course.
Yes. Speaking of main course, you can go listen to every full episode of Hit the Books, our flagship show, on iTunes or wherever you can find podcasts. Again, that is Hit the Books. It is a weekly SmackDown Live booking podcast where Mikey and I, two dudes, book for 2 hours every episode of SmackDown Live. We've been going from SummerSlam till now, till I guess the Royal Rumble is.
It takes us about a full episode of SmackDown Live.
Yeah. It takes us about to book 2 hours of SmackDown Live. It takes us 2 hours. We could do it longer, but we would die.
And that would not be a very good audio experience for our listeners, I would assume.
Oh no. But we are here to review Takeover Phoenix and Royal Rumble 2019. Mikey, just some general thoughts about the pay-per-views. What did you think of Takeover? What did you think of Royal Rumble?
I think of the most recent. I'm going to start with Takeover since it happened first.
Of course.
I was the least hyped for this one, honestly.
Interesting.
Like some of the matches looked pretty good, but I guess it's because I haven't been keeping up with
the Kardashians.
NXT, yeah, NXT as much as I usually do, because of work and stuff. So I guess I didn't really get much storyline on all of these different feuds. But I still enjoyed watching it. The matches were pretty good as always because it's NXT and they always put on a crazy good show.
And what did you think of the Royal Rumble?
Royal Rumble was actually not bad. I have a lot of thoughts about that and future booking because there was a lot of long-term booking in the Royal Rumble this year. There were so many booking things that actually felt kind of interesting and made perfect sense.
When you say long-term booking, you mean from the past or to set up for the future?
Yeah, either one.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I guess that's the point of long-term booking.
Like long-term booking either paid off or it's getting set up.
Well, like you did, let us start with reviewing Takeover Phoenix, starting off with the opening match that was the War Raiders defeating Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly, two members of the Undisputed Era, to become the new NXT Tag Team Champions. Mikey, what were your thoughts on that match?
I didn't think they were going to take the belts off of Undisputed Era, and just in general, I was surprised they ended up doing that.
Big start of the weekend with the NXT titles changing over. That means Undisputed Era officially have 0 titles.
Which is unreal.
It's no longer undisputed, it is officially unreal.
Yeah. It's weird to see no one in Era with gold. Like that. I saw
it fits them. It fits them as characters.
Yeah, it's been like it has been consistent. Like either, like I feel like those belts have been on those tag team belts have been on at least two people of Era for the longest time, and now that Era has nothing, it's kind of crazy. I want to see how they're gonna bounce back from this. Like I said, it was surprising, but it's very interesting because now we get to see how Era bounces back. Because we saw that. Did you see that WWE exclusive thing where I think Kathy Kelly or whoever does the NXT ones was interviewing Era after they lost their titles, and then Adam Cole gave a very inspirational speech.
Oh, I did not. I did miss that, but that does sound interesting. I'm definitely gonna check that out. Is that on? I assume on YouTube.
I saw it on Twitter. Yeah, it was like Undisputed Era, and they were interviewing them. And it's like, you guys said 2019 was gonna be undisputed. How does that feel? How does it feel now that you lost your titles? And it's like a beat up O'Reilly and Strong in the back with getting comforted by Bobby Fish, being like, "It's gonna be okay, guys. We're gonna get through this." And then Adam Cole comes up, and it's like, "It's gonna be okay. 2019 is still going to be undisputed." And he gives like this whole speech about how they're going to take over and how they're going to have all the gold and how they're going to bounce back from this. And it was really, really cool.
Yeah, that is definitely, it feels like it's definitely setting up a lot of things for the future. It'd be interesting to see whether or not, how Undisputed Era bounces back or goes onto the chase of getting titles back in any division, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Or, if this starts the seeds of an Undisputed Era breakup, maybe they're calling up individual people up to the main roster. Or, sorry, not calling up people, moving people across to the Raw or SmackDown brands.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll find out, I guess, maybe on Wednesday, when we have, maybe not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday, for the first episode of NXT, because it's always the Wednesday after takeovers where it's just like, here's some other matches that were kind of a pre-show.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of big old meatballs of the War Raiders, what are your meatball ratings here, Mikey? Your Mikey meatballs
For the War Raiders for Undisputed Era?
Correct.
I think I'm gonna go. That match was very good, by the way. We didn't really talk about the match very much, but the match was just. It was incredible, as I expected it to be. It's Undisputed Era and the War Raiders. They've had good matches in the past, and I was expecting it to be amazing, and it was amazing. So I'm gonna give it. I think I'm gonna give it 5 meatballs. It was pretty. It was amazing. It was a really, really good match.
Whoa, a big old 5 meatballs, Mikey.
Even though Undisputed Era lost, I'm still gonna give it 5 meatballs because the match was amazing.
Now I did not watch the entire match. I only got the ending of it. I didn't have a chance yet to rewatch it. But I'm not going to give a rating here. I'm just going to say that, look, it was what I saw the ending, high pace, amazing tag team wrestling, amazing athletics from the War Raiders that are doing power moves and high energy athletic moves. But that's who they are as the War Raiders. Undisputed Era. My cat agrees with me. He also thought it was a great match, and he appreciated it. He appreciated the War Raiders coming out with Vikings. That was amazing entrance.
That was sick.
Well, then let's move on to the next matchup. Matt Riddle defeats Cassius Ohno in a singles one-on-one match. Mikey, what did you think?
I thought it was interesting. It was a good match. And it ended in a unorthodox way for a WWE match.
I really like that ending. It was a very, sort of UFC ending. But it was weird because it was like Cassius Ohno tapping out to pure strikes.
Yeah, it felt like a TKO, which was really interesting to me because I've never seen that before in WWE.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting ending. A lot of foot fetish play, and that's not my fetish.
That freaked me out a little bit when he bit his toes. That was odd.
I was just like, I'm not into this too much. But if that's your thing, Ohno, then go for it.
But hey, Ohno, if that's your thing, we're not here to judge.
But I will take off a couple meatballs for
but we will judge.
We will judge you. Well, what's your meatball rating here? Do you have any other reviews of it, or do you have a meatball rating right
It
off
was
the
just
bat?
a good match, just a good heel versus face match. I'll give it a 3.5. Thought it was okay. It wasn't terrible.
I will also give it a 3.5, Mikey. Like you said, it was just a very standard, good heel versus face match. You're putting over Matt Riddle as a future star of NXT. Cassius Ohno, who he has not earned a single victory at any NXT takeover as of yet.
Poor Ono.
Has done a good job of putting over a lot of
Oh
people.
no.
Yes, I think he's 0-12 or 0-13 or something like that.
Yikes.
I think that's his record. It's like something bad. It's like something bad like that.
He's gonna go on a Kurt Hawkins takeover streak. Like
He's like the reverse Undertaker. Moving on to the NXT North American Championship match of Johnny Gargano versus Ricochet.
that match was bonkers, hands down. That match was insane in every single way.
I have to agree with that one. I gotta agree to that one. High flying, high energy, good technical wrestling, good reversals. That one point where Ricochet does like a handspring move, try to rebound move, but Johnny Gargano reverses it into the Gargano escape.
That was incredible. Just Gargano trying to do the Super Hurricane Run and Ricochet landing on his feet made me pop. I'm not gonna lie.
I thought there was very good, sort of like ring psychology, I guess, where it was that moment when, Ricochet, like Johnny Gargano's in the corner, Ricochet is about to go hit him, but Gargano moves out to the stand on the ring apron. Ricochet's like, oh, I can set up and do that sort of Hurricane Rana to the floor.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And Gargano's like sees that and is like, nope, and then gets off. And then Ricochet's like, okay, you know what? I'll pull another arrow out of my quiver, and just runs over and jumps over the pole and lands right onto Gargano.
No matter what Gargano did, Ricochet was like, all right, I got something for that.
Yes, which is it highlights the skills of Ricochet. He is able to, if you're able to stop him at one spot, he'll find a different way to still get that victory. Or I guess not a victory, he lost, but that is the case. Unpopular opinion here, maybe. Maybe a lot of it is nitpicky. I thought this match was great, but maybe an unpopular opinion, but it's sort of nitpicky. But the high moves and the technical wrestling was fairly good. The match didn't quite click for me.
Okay.
Maybe it's a wrong statement to make.
Well, it's not. Well, if it's your opinion, it's not wrong, man. It's an opinion.
Well, no. Well, the opinion I have is I think to me, the Johnny Gargano storyline feels way too convoluted for me anymore. And I don't know. I don't totally understand every detail in the storyline, and I'm not sure if it's because I'm missing some episodes of NXT, but if that's the case, that is not good. Ironically enough, Mikey, I feel like the perfect example is the sponsor of NXT Takeover, Kingdom Hearts 3. I sort of feel like a member of the Kingdom Hearts community where I get the basics of the story with Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, but there's like so much other intricate details that I'm missing, that I'm losing, that I like of backstory and stuff that I don't know. WWE sometimes has a hard time doing long-term storytelling, and this obviously story of Gargano has gone all the way back to, the breakup of DIY. I guess you can even say the beginning of DIY all the way up to this point. But from the breakup of DIY to now, it's just sort of like, it's been a year, but maybe it's too convoluted.
So here's what I gather from Johnny Gargano and his storyline. What I'm seeing is a person who used to have a lot of success and be a big fan favorite and be happy with where he was in his career and what he was doing. And then Ciampa turned on him. And since Ciampa turned on him, that kind of took a toll on him mentally, because no matter what match he was in, that was always in his head. And since that was always in his head and he was always in his own mind fighting about it, he kind of started losing and not being able to win the big one, and he became not happy with who he is as a superstar, and the fans started like being like, wow, if he's never going to win the big one, then like whatever. And he wants to get back on that pedestal of being happy with himself, I guess, and being successful as a superstar, like winning titles, winning matches, getting to win that big one and having his moments. But what he was doing previously, where he was just being this like babyface good guy, where he's like, I'm gonna do everything by the books and be a fan favorite and high five everybody and be all smiles, wasn't really working. And since he was kind of noticing that, it kind of it gave Ciampa this opening to get into Gargano's head. And Ciampa being like, see, they don't care about you. They only care about your success. They don't care about who you are. So he starts slowly turning Gargano into like this mold of what he wants him to be. And Gargano is slowly falling down that dark path, but you can see him still you can still see his internal struggle of trying to be who he used to be, but realizing that this dark path / heel turn / I don't know, team up with Ciampa might be the way to get his footing back in terms of success. So this is why he's doing what he's doing.
No, but you can understand like how long-winded of a storyline that is, right?
It's long and convoluted, but I personally like it. Like, I love it. I haven't seen a good, crazy storyline like that in a while to be following. And I'm super... I've never been invested in a character arc in so long. Like, I haven't been this invested in a character arc in so long. Like, I'm super invested in Johnny Gargano right now.
Yeah, I'm not, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I hate it. I'm just saying it's same thing with Kingdom Hearts. I don't hate Kingdom Hearts. I just am slightly confused by the intricacies and detail of it all. There's just a lot happening, and then now like DIY's back, but at the end of Takeover, Johnny Gargano looks at the NXT title, and he's like, pretty much like, I want that too. It's just like so that he can like almost now turn on Ciampa at some point in the future to get the title, because Ciampa grew. What you're saying is Ciampa grew this monster that only cares about championships and wins.
That only cares about his own success. Like Ciampa, he only really cares about his own success and his own title and his NXT championship. He's turning Gargano into like a version of himself. Is what's happening here. It's looking like.
And the idea is that then they'll turn on each other, I guess, or Gargano will turn on Ciampa, and then they'll fight over the NXT title or whatever.
Well, yeah, I think
it's very convoluted.
Yeah, it is a little bit. I think what they're going to be going for is like what you said. I think Ciampa's going to get Gargano on his side for a while to benefit himself as usual, because Gargano's probably going to help him keep that title. And Ciampa's probably going to help Gargano keep his title for a little bit. And then, after a while, something's going to happen. Gargano's going to lose the North American Championship. And then he's going to turn on Ciampa. And we're going to have Ciampa versus Gargano for the NXT Championship. And finally have the payoff of the whole big storyline they've been building up.
I mean, I don't know what the payoff is going to be.
It's going to...
I'm thinking about... So we have history... Mikey, of booking SmackDown Live for many months. I don't know what the payoff to this Gargano Ciampa storyline is. Either Gargano wins the NXT Championship, which just makes him more like Ciampa, and now Ciampa's lost, so it just really continues up until a point where Ciampa... there has to get to a point where neither of them have it, and either like Ciampa realizes that... not having it and having a friend is better.
Well, we've had the point of neither of them having it, right? And that didn't do anything for either. Well, that did amazing things for both of them, but...
They became tag team champions.
But then what about after that, where they lost the championships, and then they both didn't have anything, and then that led Ciampa turning on Gargano?
I guess. What's your meatball rating on this one?
4.75 for this one.
Whoa, not as good as the opener, but still very strong.
It's hard. I think it's in there. I think it's like 4.75 to like 4 to like it's like in between the 5 and the 4.75 for me.
Like a 4 point, yeah, I can see it. Like a high 4.75.
Because I also like the parallels that Gargano made to Ciampa, since he's doing like this whole thing where he's falling into Ciampa's mold, where he pulled up the floor, like the padding on the floor.
I'm going to give this one a rating of 4 out of 5 meatballs. Still, I'm saying 4 out of 5 is still very strong. It's just, I feel like I'm kind of losing it on Gargano, and I think I'm losing my care for the storyline. I can maybe understand. I respect that it's still a good storyline. I feel like it's if I can make this comparison. I'm also a fan of New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I know you don't watch a lot of New Japan Pro Wrestling, Mikey. But with New Japan, where they do long-term storytelling, it's like, it's not like years of battling each other like every couple of months. It's like, let me think of an example. It's like Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi. Their long-term storytelling is they have an interaction maybe every year or two. And it goes on for so long. This is like Ciampa and Gargano is like they have an interaction almost every week on NXT TV, and it adds more and more dynamics to their story.
Mm-hmm.
If that comparison makes sense, that's why I'm starting to get lost is that, and I think it's something that you and I have discovered with our storytelling on Hit the Books is that like SmackDown Live TV, it's like, okay, what other new dynamic do I have to add to this storyline? Because we need to have the champion on TV because we have a pay-per-view coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And like you and I have talked about how, that there's this Sunday for us potential that Seth Rollins could win the Royal Rumble. Maybe he goes to the WrestleMania to get that dream match he's talking about. How many interactions have Seth Rollins and AJ Styles have in the past since SummerSlam?
Not a lot.
Not a lot. We're not booking them every week. There was a point where after Survivor Series, where Seth Rollins was not on SmackDown Live TV the entire 6 weeks up until Clash of Champions, and then he showed up at Clash of Champions. I guess that's what I feel about long-term story. I'm getting very nitpicky. A lot of my reviews are very nitpicky, but that being said, I still thought that this was a 4 out of 5. I still thought this was a great match that everyone should go see. I love Ricochet. I can't wait to see more of him in the future.
I agree.
Let's move on to the next match. Shayna Baszler defeats and defends her NXT Women's Championship against Bianca Belair. Mikey, what do you think of it?
Another showstopper. Bianca Belair just showed off how incredible she was in that match. I think that was her best showing so far.
This match to me was less a showing of Shayna Baszler's wrestling capabilities, but more this was a match to help make Bianca Belair a star.
Yeah.
It not only stems from just this match, it stems from 2 videos on the WWE Performance Center YouTube channel. You watch the pre-match with her and her husband, and then the post-match with her crying about how she's so happy about what she did, and she's crying about happy. And in this match, to me, this wasn't a great match, but you saw what Bianca could do. She was almost able to get out of Baszler's chokehold twice by just powering out of it.
She stood up out of it twice.
Yeah. She hit her KOD finisher on Shayna Baszler and got a 10-count pin, except the referee was gone. She was able to easily knock out 2 people of Shayna Baszler's friends.
She literally cut open Shayna Baszler with her hair.
That is correct. Like this match proved that Bianca Belair is a future star, and she totally impressed me for what
agree.
this match was.
I am way more on board with Bianca Belair. I was a little skeptical on Bianca Belair because her whole undefeated thing was getting a little annoying to me. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Well, good thing it's over, I guess.
Yeah. So I'm excited now to see how Bianca Belair as a character handles this moving forward, and how she is no longer undefeated, and how she comes back and shows that she's still as dominant as before, even though she has a loss under her belt now.
I mean, she has a loss under her belt, but she can easily win it on round 2.
Yeah.
Because she proved that she would have stayed undefeated if the referee was not knocked out.
And
that is what this match did.
And I feel like they're also, it looks like they're building this whole thing with Shayna Baszler of how she can't win without Jessamine Duke, and I can't remember the other one.
Marina
how
Shafir?
she can't win without those two, because like her last 3 title wins / defenses have been because of them. Starting at Evolution, you know.
True.
Or not starting at Evolution, starting before that actually.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, she can win without them, yet she chooses. I mean, it's good heel work though. She is choosing to use them. She has proven like a year ago that she could do it, but now this late in the game against Kairi Sane, all these people, where she kind of now has to use them. Shayna Baszler's slipping.
Yeah, where she maybe realizes like Kairi Sane had her number because she got beaten, and now how Bianca Belair almost had her beat.
Yeah, there are new people on the horizon. They're ready to take Shayna Baszler's title, and she's trying all that she can to keep it. I gave this match, despite I love all that storytelling for Bianca Belair, but again, I didn't think the match was that great. I give it the solid, 3 out of 5 meatballs.
I'll go with you. I'll raise you a 4 on that one because I really enjoyed it.
Very good, very good. Let's move on to this main event, however. Tommaso Ciampa, the Tomato Champ himself, is able to defeat and retain his NXT Championship, his Goldie, against Aleister Black. Thoughts on this match, Mikey?
As usual for NXT Takeover, the match was insane.
Mm-hmm. I think this match got hurt a little bit I think the crowd got. They had a high octane match followed by a slower technical match. I think this match, crowd wise, got hurt by that.
Yeah,
and it took a little for me. Also, it took a little bit, to get into this match because I'm like, okay, let's get going. But despite that,
all right, do the cool stuff already.
Yeah, despite all that, pretty good overall. This is, again, a lot of my complaints, Mikey, this entire thing is going to be very nitpicky, probably.
That's always how it is with takeovers, right?
Yeah, I guess that's true. This match made me feel like Aleister Black is sort of like an idiot wrestler. That's
what?
Very much.
Oh yeah, because he kept doing moves that hurt himself and his knee.
That's what I'm talking about.
Got injured.
Literally through the entire match, he kept doing moves with his hurt knee. I mean, dude, if you're smart, if you know a lot of wrestling moves and do other stuff, change up your style. Pull out some other moves that aren't used. I know you're a striker and use your knees. You also have hands that you could use. You could do submissions or something. Just go mat ground based. I mean, change up something because you're doing these running and knee attacks and meteoras to a concrete floor. I mean, my man, you gotta cool it.
He was going very high risk, high reward with those moves. Like, sure, he hurt himself a lot, but it was also very I feel like it was a pulling out all the stops moment,
But not every single move has to be pulling out all the stops.
I mean, when you're in an NXT Championship match, you do what you can to win, man.
Yeah, but a running knee strike to a face is not going to win you a match. You have to you should save that knee strength for when you have to go hit the Fade to Black. And and that was a great example because since he constantly used it and he was constantly re-hurting his knee, he could not get the right ground to hit his Fade to Black, which helped him lose this match. That all being said, I loved Aleister Black's whatever. What's a Fade to Black?
I don't think anything.
That's got to be something.
I think that's what they say when people lose to Black, that he made them Fade to Black.
What is Fade to Black? Has got to be a wrestling move. There's no way it's not.
His kick. I would say his kick is the Black Mass.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Apparently, that was Kazarian's finisher. Remember Kazarian?
Sure.
Oh, that's Frankie Kazarian. Okay, well, I guess I'm wrong with that part. That's fine. Fade not fade to black. Black end, what is it called?
Black Mass.
Black Mass, sure, yeah. You gotta do that. So, despite what I was saying about that, is that what I did like about this match is that Aleister Black's, even though he kept using his stupid knee, he was very consistent in selling that knee.
Mm-hmm.
There was a decent amount of inconsistency when it came to selling this weekend, and the fact that literally like almost every single move Aleister Black uses, walking around, running, anything, like he would have to stop running because his knee hurt. He was very consistent in showing that his knee was in pain. And maybe if I got annoyed by how many times he would constantly use it, he was also able to remind me that, yes, this is hurt. It didn't have like a fighting spirit moment where he's able to withstand the pain from his knee and be able to hit the Black Mass or whatever the hell it's called, but he is actually he is hurt so bad that he can't do it. So he was very consistent with it, which is what I enjoyed about the match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I gave this match a 3.75 out of 5 meatballs.
I like that. That works for me.
Ooh, a similar 3.75 meatball rating. And that is Takeover. That was Takeover Phoenix. Again, pretty solid pay-per-view, and I think I agree with you at the start of the show, Mikey. Didn't get on the Excitometer, probably a little low for this pay-per-view, but booking-wise, yeah. I think strong.
Yeah, I agree. I was pleasantly surprised by the pay-per-view. Like, I wasn't going into it very hyped like I usually do with NXT takeovers, but watching it, I did get very hyped, and I thought it was a really good showing.
That is good. Well, then let's move on to the Royal Rumble pre-show, I guess. Were you able to check out the pre-show, Mikey? Because I'll be honest, I did not.
Me neither.
But let's just, I guess, I don't know what any of the, no, I need the actual Wikipedia page.
I don't know why, but apparently Bobby Roode and Chad Gable went against one half of the Revival and one half of Authors of Pain.
That is correct. In a normal tag team match.
It was Scott Dawson and Razor, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Why?
Don't know. Maybe to say that, like, hey, look, we found a way to get our Raw Tag Team Champions on the show.
But why didn't they just put fully the Revival or fully Authors of Pain?
Well, Razor's tag team partner, Akam, thank you. So wrong with pronunciation. He's currently injured. And I think he's going to be out for several months.
Interesting.
That being said, I don't believe Dash Wilder is injured.
I would say, what about Dash Wilder? What happened there?
I don't know. I think it was just a way to get Razor in people's heads.
Interesting.
But yeah, it looks like Bobby Roode and Chad Gable defeated Razor and Scott Dawson in this tag team match. Quick thoughts on that?
Fine.
Yeah. Moving on. In a singles match for the WWE United States Championship, Shinsuke Nakamura defeats Rusev.
That's a big shock.
That no one saw coming.
Rusev's title reign was very short, and I was not expecting that.
Yes. Don't know what that means moving forward.
And how Lana got injured during the match.
Ooh, very good use of vocal quotation marks.
Thanks.
Yeah. Again, we have not seen the full match, so I can't really give reviews on it. But Shinsuke Nakamura didn't really have a great United States Championship reign. Rusev had a very short one that also was not on TV. Putting the title back on Nakamura is a weird choice.
It seems weird, yeah.
But maybe like this era, we can get a new, fresh start with it.
Yeah, maybe they have plans, I guess.
Hopefully. And then the Fatal 4-Way match for the WWE Cruiserweight Championship, Buddy Murphy was able to retain his title against Tozawa, Itami, and Kalisto.
Heard the match was a barnstormer. Never got to see it.
Dang.
Listen, Royal Rumble was 5 hours by itself, so...
What, you couldn't spare 2?
I started watching it at noon, and I just finished like an hour ago.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. It's a big 4. It's a long pay-per-view. So we don't want to make this paper review too long. So let's move right along to the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship. Asuka defeats and retains her title against Becky Lynch via submission.
So when I saw that happen, I did not think they were going to have Becky lose. However, I now see why they did
it. You believe that Becky Lynch was going to win this one?
Yes, I thought Becky was going to get her title back, but now I understand why they didn't.
With Becky Lynch, of course, later on the night winning the Royal Rumble.
Yes, winning the women's taking. We'll get to it later.
Yeah, I thought this match was a solid match, solid opener. Very good wear and tear on each other. Wearing down Asuka's shoulder to get to disarm her on her and get it more, typical match stuff when it comes to technical submission-based wrestling, where it's like you're going to do some joint damage, which I thought was a really good job. The match to me was pretty much who gets their submission first to win, which I found interesting because Asuka and Becky Lynch were both able to get the disarm hers and Asuka locks onto each other and even their own variations of each other's moves. But the way Asuka won the match was with a completely different submission hold.
It was like an Asuka lock, but she added like this bridge to it that put more torque on the neck, I guess. Which was
also,
interesting.
can I add that to my list of words I like to say? Torque.
Torque, yeah.
It's a good word. It feels good. It feels good to say.
Has a good mouth feel.
What did you think of this match?
I thought it was decent. It was it was a good showing. It was a very technical wrestling match, and I liked the fact that they stole each other's finishers, even though Gargano and Ricochet did it the night before. But whatever.
I gave this match a 3.5 out of 5 meatballs.
Yeah, that's fair.
Are you agreement? You're also giving this match 3.5?
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Next up, The Miz and Shane McMahon defeat The Bar to become the new WWE SmackDown Tag Team Champions.
Everyone knew it was coming.
Unlike the Nakamura match, this one was pretty obvious.
This one was pretty obvious. The match was fun.
Yeah, I agree. High flying, a lot of high flying, hard hitting. That was a great match. I thought it was exciting.
It was interesting that Shane did most of the wrestling.
True. Did not expect that one coming.
Miz was out. Yeah, Miz seemed out of it a lot, huh?
Yeah. And also, Shane McMahon was winded.
Yeah.
This man needs to do some endurance training.
At the end of that match, Miz like trying to celebrate with him, and I feel like for the first like 5 minutes of that celebration, Shane McMahon didn't know where he was. That was rough.
That's true. I'll say this: Shane McMahon is not a great wrestler, but he is a great entertainer.
I agree.
He knows how to put on the high spots.
Mm-hmm.
I gave also this match a 3.5 meatballs.
Oh, I'll go with 3.
Ooh, go with 3. Okay, interesting.
Yeah,
interesting.
it was fun, but like in terms of wrestling, it was like in terms of wrestling and booking, it was like weird. Cause like I don't know what they're doing with Miz and Shane. And
moving forward, yeah.
It was weird that Shane was like the main person in this match.
Mm-hmm. The bar definitely held up their end of the bargain when it came to wrestling, though.
Well,
they definitely,
of course.
Put it in.
Cesaro swinging Shane for like 20 minutes scared the crap out of me, though, because I'm like, he's old. You're gonna kill him.
Let's move on to the Raw Women's WWE Champion, Ronda Rousey defeating Sasha Banks.
Good match. I kind of wanted Sasha to win, though.
Yeah. I think I agree. Sasha Banks. We talked about this when we were coming up with our predictions for this match, Mikey. I believe that Ronda was going to win. I wanted Banks to win, though. But despite that, I thought I feel like it had a rough, awkward start to this match.
Yeah.
But it did pick up a little bit and get better as it went along.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I'll say this much: whether or not Ronda is leaving after WrestleMania, I believe that Ronda is a good wrestler.
Yeah.
And I had this like she's put on several great matches, and she does a lot of great moves, and I kind of guess figure out maybe I have a crazy conspiracy theory to Ronda Rousey matches, and then I have an Occam razor to Ronda Rousey matches. Which one do you want to hear first?
The second one.
The Occam razor. Well, Ronda is a great wrestler.
Do you get the Authors of Pain's name now?
Hi, I'm Occam.
Occam's razor, Occam razor. Huh?
Oh. Huh. What does that have to do with Authors of Pain?
There was a whole theory about it on Reddit that I read that I can't really remember off the top of my head right now, but it was very interesting.
If you find it, please send that my way. God, that's going to take me a little bit to unwind. In the meantime, I'll say this about Ronda. The Occam razor of her matches is the fact that Ronda is a good wrestler. She just usually starts her matches out with nerves, and maybe some tendencies like she's in the spotlight, so maybe she's a little nervous at the start of her matches. On the contrary, my conspiracy theory is that her matches are constructed this way. Her matches what if like her matches are constructed so that like when she starts the match, it's a little bit awkward, and then as the match moves along, Ronda's wrestling and selling and moveset and psychology, all this stuff gets insanely better to the point where it's like, oh crap, Ronda's a really good wrestler. That's my conspiracy theory, is that these matches are constructed this way. But it's probably she just has nerves. I mean, who else has nerves in this sport? She didn't really have matches that went on for like 10 minutes before. She had a match that went on for like a couple minutes, and then she becomes the UFC champion.
Yeah.
It's okay to have some nerves, especially when you're in such the critical eye that Ronda Rousey is.
Yes.
What was your meatball rating for this match, Mikey?
I think that my meatball rating for Sasha and Ronda was like a 3. Nothing
Mhm.
really, like, it was fine. I kind of expected a little more from it, actually.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I expected them to kind of go, like, they both did, like, decent. I expected them to both go a little further than they did, but it was a good match.
I'll raise you just a smidge. I give this match a 3.25 meatballs. Moving on to the actual Women's Royal Rumble match. Mikey, your thoughts?
Yeah, it was good. It was actually really, really good. I enjoyed it a lot. But I like how they didn't rely on a bunch of part-timers for pops and just used the roster they had.
True. I enjoyed that just as much. There was no... Last year was definitely like a love letter to women's wrestling with the past, present, future of women's wrestling. This one was definitely like, yes, this is who is on our roster. Let's showcase the best that we have.
There was
currently.
no like Kelly Kelly or Molly Holly or Trish Stratus or Lita. It was just like, here's our roster.
If anything, I expected Trish Stratus, but the fact that she didn't show up at all, I was, kind of still surprised, but pleasantly surprised.
Me too. I'm glad they used who they had instead of trying to throw in a bunch of part-timers for some pops,
Mm-hmm. The big news of this match is the fact that Becky Lynch, after every single participant was announced, she comes into the match to replace Lana because of Lana's ankle
Becky
injury.
Lynch was number 31.
She was number 31, I guess, in the Royal Rumble and ended up winning the Women's Royal
Hell
Rumble.
yes, Becky.
What'd you think of her entrance into the Royal Rumble, Mikey, and her eventual win?
Two things about it. One, did you hear that crowd when she got in? They went nuts.
What
they
a
went
pop.
Nuts. The roof almost came off that place. That was insane. When Finley did like that whole like, all right, go ahead, the crowd went insane.
Mm-hmm.
And it just shows how over Becky is. And the second thing is, oh my god, my heart broke for Lana.
Oh, yeah. I felt bad for her.
She was doing her best to get to the ring, and then when Finley was like, all right, Becky, go ahead, take her place. And she like went, no, and started like crying. I was like, no, Lana. Oh, I felt terrible. I can't watch, I love watching it because I love watching the pop for Becky, but I can't take how heartbroken Lana is.
Yeah, that is true. That is.
It was really hard to watch.
Yeah, that part, it was sad to watch, but
like I wish they had taken Lana out first.
Yeah, just a backstage thing, or like before the
just
match.
Backstage first.
Like before the match, maybe. I mean, maybe that would have tampered the surprise a bit, but yeah, it was sort of really heartbreaking to watch.
Yeah.
I think
it really hurt.
I think Becky Lynch sort of deserved this victory. I did like that way of introducing her into the match. I thought, final three of Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, and Nia Jax was a great triple threat match, great pairing of people. I thought that like her and Becky Lynch entering this match was obviously sort of like her story from SummerSlam to today. Her rivalry and breaking down friendship between her and Charlotte Flair, Nia Jax trying to ruin through injury her chances, and Becky Lynch saying, you know what, this is my time, I'm going to do it, despite maybe an injury.
Even though she was on one leg.
Yeah, and then able to win the match with one leg. Take that, Aleister Black.
I like how they added that. Yeah. I like how they added that in there. They added Nia injuring Becky at the end to make it so even though Charlotte was very early, Charlotte came in, number 13 or something like that?
Yes.
And Becky came in number 31, basically, that they somehow made Becky the underdog in that situation.
Good point.
Like, they somehow still, like, even though Becky was so fresh and came in so much later than Charlotte and had so much of the advantage, Nia shoving her off those stairs and her, quote-unquote, injuring her knee, again, they just put it so Becky's still the underdog, and you're still going to root for Becky, and it's not going to take away from Becky's victory about it. Like, it's going to be like, well, of course Becky won because she was number 31, you know? Because she came in so late. So I like how they still made Becky the underdog despite the circumstances.
Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree. What are some, just to go over some overview of this match, what were some highlights and lowlights for this match for you, Mikey?
How well Lacey Evans and Ember Moon did. They were in for a while.
Yeah.
They fought hard, both of them, and I am very glad WWE... I feel like no matter how badly WWE, like, uses Ember in matches on Raw, every time she's in, like, a big match like that, they always give her a rub.
Yep.
You know? And I really like that, because I love Ember
I will
Moon.
say, to be contradictory to your Lacey Evans comment, her opening segment with her versus Natalya, she, like, botched twice.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, Lacey.
She lasted a while, though.
She did.
And then once more people got in the ring, it kind of covered if they were doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of how Royal Rumble matches go. People just do random shit in the corners for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. Any other highlights for you?
It was weird to me how Natalya eliminated Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan, but then Bayley eliminated Ruby Riott. I thought it was either going to be a collective effort of the Riott Squad to eliminate Natalya, or Natalya taking out the whole Riott Squad. Which is weird, because when Ruby Riott got eliminated, Natalya was still in the match.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why they didn't just be like, all right, Natalya, take them all out, you know? Like, end that rivalry.
Yeah.
They're just like, all right, Bayley, get the last one.
Some highlights for me were Casey and Naomi, you know, really taking those Kingston spots and shining with them.
That's what I said when I saw Naomi doing, like, walking on the barricade. I was like, is she the Kofi of this match?
She did the exact same thing last year. I thought Rhea Ripley's performance and her dominance in this match was great. I thought she did a great job. I also like setting up maybe a possible, you know, tag team fighting in the Elimination Chamber coming up of the Riott Squad versus Io Shirai and Kairi Sane.
Yes, that was cool.
I thought that was interesting. And then my biggest highlight is just seeing Finlay. I love Finlay. I'm a big fan of his. Seeing him, I just love him so much.
Yeah, Finlay let Becky fight.
And then some lowlights for me. I wasn't a huge fan of this Alicia Fox Maria Kanellis bit. And commentary did not put it over well, so it was just sort of like...
Yeah, that was kind of... It just was kind of awkward in the middle.
Yeah, and commentary definitely just made it more awkward and more, you know, meaningless to me.
As usual with WWE commentary.
Kind of similar. Zelina Vega and Hornswoggle.
That was weird. Is the kayfabe that Hornswoggle just lives under the ring, no matter where they go, even though they know they're a traveling show and go to all different kinds of places?
Yep.
I don't know. That seems weird to me.
Oh, that's just the allure of Hornswoggle.
They expect us to believe that Hornswoggle is always under the ring, but just isn't disturbed a lot of the time.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. That is pretty much true. Overall, I thought this match was... I thought it was fine.
It was fine.
It was fine. But it got better once Becky entered the match. Because once Becky entered the match, we had all these, you know, high big names. Bayley, Nia Jax, Ember Moon, I believe, was still in it. I think Natalya may or may not have still been in there.
Yeah.
A lot of these big names and they're big stars. And I was like, once they got there, I was like, good. I gave this 3.5 meatballs.
Yeah, that's fitting. Very hyped that Becky won the match, though.
Moving on to the WWE Championship match, Dan Bryan defeats AJ Styles with the help of Eric Rowan?
That was wild. I did not expect that. I saw Eric Rowan come out. He came out in like jeans and a flannel. It looked like he was a fan that just like popped up out of the crowd and was like, "I got you, Dan Bryan. I'm here to help."
When the last time we saw Eric Rowan, he was wearing shitty Kane cosplay, and now he's wearing jeans and a flannel.
Well, are you saying the Bludgeon Brothers gear is just shitty Kane cosplay?
Look back at those pictures, dude.
That's fair.
You'll know I'm right.
But he came out just looking like a fan that came out of the stands. And the way he just kind of stood there for a bit. I would have liked it more if ref got knocked out and then he came out and did his thing.
Agreed. I would agree.
Instead of just standing there for a bit awkwardly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the commentators were like, "What's Eric Rowan doing here?" And like awkwardly going.
He wasn't like a menace. I think it was supposed to play as like a confusion and then a menace. It sort of maybe felt like he was early, and he kind of fucked up.
That's what it did feel like, because he was kind of just standing there, and the refs and like the announcers were like, "What's Eric Rowan doing here?" And then they just went back to commentating the match, and they were like, "But why is Eric Rowan here?" And then went back to the match, and then Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles didn't acknowledge him at all.
As soon as like the commentary were like sort of done saying like, "Why is Eric Rowan here?"
And it was like, "Oh."
Yeah.
That's
it just
why.
felt like it was early or something. I thought the storytelling in this match was very strong. Obviously it was, Dan Bryan trying to do some wear and tear on AJ Styles' arm, while AJ Styles is doing wear and tear on Daniel Bryan's knee. And kind of like going back to the Asuka Becky Lynch match where they're like hurting each other, so it's making it harder or making it easier to do each other's moves. Like Becky Lynch hurting Asuka's shoulder, so it's easier to do the disarm her. Or not easier, but more effective. This was an interesting kind of twist to that, where it was like both offensive and defensive. Styles attacked Bryan's knee, so Bryan couldn't be as quick. He couldn't use his flying knee as effective. He couldn't effectively use the label lock. It was sort of an offensive, and also when he used the calf crusher, it was more effective. Similarly, when Dan Bryan attacks AJ Styles' arm, Styles couldn't really use the Styles Clash or the Phenomenal Forearm or the calf crusher as well. Like, it was both offensive and defensive limb targeting, which is something I really enjoyed. I also thought what was nice about it was the fact that this felt like a completely even match.
Yeah. It felt pretty down the middle.
And the only way Bryan won was outside interference from Eric Rowan.
Mm-hmm.
That is literally the only reason he won. They could have kept fighting forever.
Yeah.
And then Eric Rowan comes in and is like, "Hey, by the way, I'm confused by Eric Rowan's involvement, but
Hey, I came in early."
Yeah. I'm confused by Eric Rowan's involvement, but the new Daniel Bryan has been great. So I guess I'm sort of excited about how this is going to turn out. I guess I trust it.
My meatball rating, probably a 4. Maybe like a 3, because Eric Rowan's involvement confused me. I am excited to see where this goes, though, because it looks like Aaron is, clearly on Daniel Bryan's side. Like, he helped him win, and then he walked out with him, too. Like, he didn't help him win and then just leave. He, helped him win, raised his hand, and walked out with Bryan.
I'll give this one a 4.25 meatballs. Just raise you a little. Oh, not even raise it. You dropped it a whole point for Eric Rowan.
Okay, I'll keep it at a 4. It wasn't that bad.
Next up, a short.
Wait, hold on. Before we move on, I did see something very funny. Saying that Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan are going to be Devegetation X.
Dude, I'm excited. And if we had Harper back, maybe we have a weird Wyatt family, but they're all sort of hippies now. Are you saying that hippies like vegan people are a cult? Is that what you're saying?
No,
WWE?
I just thought Devegetation X was a very good pun.
Oh, it's a very strong pun. It's as strong as a pun like the title of this program, Paper Reviews.
Yes.
Moving on to the next very great, very short match for me. Brock Lesnar defeats Finn Balor. It's disappointing that Brock is always gone for so long, but when he comes back, he always puts on amazing matches in my eyes.
When he comes back and gets a match he wants or a feud he's interested in, he puts in work.
Oh yeah, Balor. Balor pushed him to that limit.
He sold the shit out of those moves for Balor.
Yeah, he made Balor look amazing. And despite every other single superstar that push Brock, you got Dan Bryan, you got Braun Strowman, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles. Balor was the one that was able to hit like all of his moves, hit him as a finisher, and just mere moments away from winning. But then, Brock was able to just last minute instinct.
I don't think this feud is over, and I'm very excited for that.
I think it just goes to prove that there could easily be a round 2, and if Finn Balor brings the Demon,
it's going to be round 2, and Finn Balor's going to be the Demon, and I'm so freaking excited for Demon versus Beast.
And I'm fairly certain it would be a win. Fairly certain it will be a win.
I don't remember the last time I was excited for a Brock Lesnar match.
Like the potential of a Brock Lesnar match.
Yeah. Like, every other time it's been like, oh, it's going to be Brock Lesnar again. But now I'm like, it's going to be Brock Lesnar again, and it's going to be good. And I have not felt that way in a while.
You take the same aspects of this match, crank up Finn Balor's intensity by a couple notches, and you get the Demon. And that should be a very hard-hitting match. I can't believe I'm going to say hard-hitting describing Finn Balor and Brock Lesnar, but that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, like he made like you said, he made Finn Balor look amazing. Like, sure, he still won, and sure, Finn Balor tapped out, but he still made Finn Balor look great. And that match was short, but effective.
I gave this a 4.5 meatballs.
I am with you there.
It's a very good match. Very, very, very good.
I think it put Finn Balor back in people's minds instead of him being just like, oh, Finn Balor's here again.
Now WWE, don't ruin that. Keep that momentum going.
Please. I love my boy. I love my leather jacket Irish boy. Please. Treasure him.
And then finally the main event, the men's Royal Rumble match. Mikey, what are your thoughts on it?
It was good. Jeff Jarrett was weird because that outfit was uncomfortable.
20-year-old outfit.
It was uncomfortable to see him in that.
It was a weird start.
As an old man.
It was a weird but funny comedy spot to begin, which then turned into a beatdown, which was weird.
Yeah. Did Elias turn heel again?
I don't know. It's Jeff Jarrett, so it doesn't really matter. He helped out TNA and Impact, and he started his own thing. I did love Elias's new jeans, however. I'm a big fan of when wrestlers wear jeans. Love the color. It's a rare color that we see of the light jeans. Blues. Hoof. So good. Besides that, Mikey, what are some highlights and lowlights for you?
Highlights. Nia Jax trying to steal Becky's spotlight.
Yes.
That was a big thing. Nia Jax entered the men's Royal Rumble to try to one-up Becky Lynch.
Yep. She eliminated Mustafa Ali.
Which, she's going to get major heat for that. Because I wanted Mustafa Ali to win so badly, and so did a lot of people.
Then we had, full contact intergender wrestling, which, we haven't had in decades.
Nia Jax eat 3 finishers.
And sold them like a champ.
Yeah. That was crazy. I didn't expect that.
No, we've had intergender matches of James Ellsworth versus Becky Lynch, and it's just the
where
woman
it was just
getting
a beating. Yeah.
all the offense in. We've had those sort of matches. We haven't had guys fighting back, actual women on guy intergender wrestling.
But we had Nia Jax in RKO.
It was beautiful RKO. It was one of his best. It was picture perfect too.
Yeah, it was a really good RKO.
Any other highlights you have in this match, or lowlights?
Mustafa Ali eliminating Joe, I believe, happened.
Yes.
which was very
It
good.
was a great moment for Ali. Build up Joe as a monster in this match, and then Ali is able to be the underdog and, continue that rivalry a little bit.
Yes. The NXT guys, Pete Dunne specifically, shined.
Yes.
Pete Dunne
Yes.
stood up to Drew McIntyre and put up a fight. Like, Pete Dunne took down Drew McIntyre.
Yes.
That was huge. I feel like that was a big moment that kind of got overlooked in people's heads. Like, he took down Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
This
that's
guy
true.
they're building
That
up
is
as like
very
this
true.
monster beast, like big guy who is like unstoppable. Like, Pete Dunne just grabbed his hand and was like, "All right, you're on the floor now."
Yeah. Yeah, he is being built. He is being groomed. I loved going along to Pete Dunne. I loved that Black Pete Dunne interaction.
Yes.
Of the finger spot.
Oh, that got me cringing a little bit.
That got me that's an NXT UK matchup. That's an NXT UK pay-per-view matchup in the books.
Pete Dunne and Aleister Black.
Yeah, I mean, you could do that on NXT Takeover, sure. NXT proper. I say put that on NXT UK. Move that over to the UK. That could be a good reason to watch an NXT UK Takeover event.
That would mean Black would have to move from NXT.
Well, Finn Balor was on the last Blackpool event.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, and he's from Amsterdam.
Yeah.
It works. It works. What are some lowlights for you? For me, a lowlight was No Way Jose.
Yeah, that was a bummer.
That was a big old bummer.
With the conga line, and then just kinda, I thought it was a little funny how he came out with the conga line, got eliminated, and then just conga lined out. But then him trying to be like, "Hey, Drew McIntyre, want to dance?" Okay, come on.
Yeah. I'm also not a fan of when people are delusional in the fact that they just lost. He lost, but the music started playing. He's like, "Oh wait, I'm gonna dance to the music." I'm like, I don't care. You should be upset that you just lost out of a second.
I don't know. I like the fact that he was like, "Well, I lost, but that's okay," and just kept partying anyway.
Two lowlights for me. The inclusion of Lawler and JBL in commentary, unnecessary, not needed, not really welcomed for me. I wish
Renee was still there. The fact that they had to move Renee off commentary for that was kind of a bummer. I would be okay if it was just Cole, Corey, King, and Renee, but FJBL.
No, take out King. Take out King. We don't need him.
Yeah,
we don't need him at all.
He didn't do much either, did he?
No, he actually made fun of wrestlers. He talked about Aleister Black's the only thing he really talked about Black was the fact that he had tattoos. I was like, what are you doing? We're not necessary here.
Instead of the fact that he was kicking the shit out of people.
Another low light, no 205 live, guys.
Yeah, that was a bummer, huh?
Big old bummer.
We saw Leo Rush, but not in the match.
Do what? He just was like, good job, almighty Bobby. Oh, you're out.
Yeah, that sucked. That there was no 205 guys. And then there was only 3 NXT guys, I think.
Yeah. I don't remember. I got to look back and try to remember what it was.
Yeah, I think it was just Dunn, Gargano, and Black.
Yeah, kind of a low light. This is very nitpicky. Go ahead, Mikey.
I was going to say, I wish they had Gargano and Almas have a little bit of a stare down, like they did with Vega and LeRae in the women's one.
Good point. Because
that was a cool moment for me when Zelina Vega and Candice LeRae came face to face, and they started beating the snot out of each other. I wish they did the same thing with Almas and Gargano because that was a big for a while.
This is very nitpicky, and a low light for me is, as much as I like Casey and Naomi and Kofi Kingston spots, I think I'm starting to get tired of this both feet must hit the floor rule and the nonsense that's involved in it.
I wish they just left it to Kofi to do those spots because now I think they're getting generous with them.
We had four of those spots. We usually have one. Last year we had 2. Now we had 4.
I don't care if they. I wish they just kept it at one per Rumble. Like, just let Kofi have his spot every year and have it be something ridiculous and move on. You know, you don't need everyone having their own, like, both feet, like you said, both feet must hit the floor moment.
Just change it to, like, if you're on the ground at this point. Like, it's just so, like, what about this? Now we got 4 different people do it, or 3 different people. One person do it twice.
That's what I'm. Yeah, they're kind of running it dry a little bit. Like, keep it, like, if you want to do it, don't overdo it. And they're starting to overdo it. They just leave it to Kofi to do his crazy shenanigans.
And then here's a medium light for me. Dean Ambrose wallet chain. Not sure if it's a highlight, not sure if it's a low light, but it's definitely a thing that needs to be acknowledged. Again, Dean Ambrose had a wallet chain, everybody.
Yes.
Let's not forget this. And of course, final highlight, Seth Rollins winning the Royal Rumble.
Yeah. I was also kind of hyped when Dean Ambrose came in and him and Seth Rollins. I always love a good moment where 2 bitter rivals just start punching the crap out of each other. Mm-hmm. Like, I loved it in WrestleMania, I think 2 years ago, where Sami Zayn came out and Kevin Owens saw Sami Zayn, and the whole time Sami Zayn was coming down that ramp, he was just staring a hole through Owens. And then he just slides in the ring, and they just start they just start throwing fists at each other. That's always such a hype moment for me. Either they're going to do Rollins versus Brock, or Finn Balor is going to win it with the Demon before Mania, and we're going to get Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor.
Or, hot take, triple threat.
Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, and Brock Lesnar?
Correct. At WrestleMania.
Interesting.
It's a hot take. Could be possible. I would prefer 2 dudes, but
I mean, who wouldn't?
But you know, it could happen. I mean, any that nucleus that is, you know, Brock, Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, like, they all have interconnected storylines of each other. So at this point, you know, you could easily do a triple threat, or you can split it off into just one-on-one.
Yeah.
It could be interesting. But yes, again, what are your overall thoughts of the Royal Rumble pay-per-view? I thought it was pretty good. We forgot to say our meatball ratings for this matchup. For the men's Royal Rumble. Yes, what was yours?
3.5.
3.5. I give it a 4.25. Nice. That is all for this pay-per-review of the Takeover Phoenix and Royal Rumble. Mikey, again, thank you for joining me.
Of course.
If you want to listen to more paper reviews, just subscribe again to our YouTube channel. I didn't say again. This is the first time of me saying it. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is where you're listening to this, I believe. Yes, that's what we agreed upon. So subscribe to our YouTube channel at Hit the Books, whatever it's called. You're already there. You're listening to it. So just hit that subscribe button. And the bell for notifications. I'm not sure entirely what that does, but every other YouTube channel talks about hitting that bell. So why don't you go hit it? If you want to listen to us actually book individual storylines of SmackDown Live, then go to iTunes or wherever you can find podcasts and go download Hit the Books, the only weekly SmackDown Live booking podcast. That is all we have, folks. Mikey, it's been real. Yeah, we got 2 words for you.
Review it?
We'll workshop it. See you next time.
Bye.